A Black executive perspective now presents Need to Know with the award-winning hyphenated Dr. Nsenga Burton. Dr. Burton, what do we need to know?
Good morning and welcome to Need to Know with Dr. Nsenga Burton. I am she. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Today I want to quote one of my favorite sheroes, heroines, one of America's greatest citizens, Fannie Lou Hamer. And I just want to say that I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. January was the longest year ever. And I know it was a month, but I meant what I said. It was a long year, y'all. My goodness. Particularly January 20th until the end of the month. And now here we are in February, and we get to see a whole bunch of foolishness continuing. And I just don't understand. I'm not anti-Republican necessarily, but I am anti the man in office, because all I remember from 2016 to 2020 was a bunch of people dying, being trapped in my house, couldn't go nowhere. The economy was in the tank. Y'all keep talking about he was great economically. I guess if you're a billionaire, y'all must be billionaires, and I just don't know it. I can't tell by where you live in or whatever, because you got to be a billionaire to have thought that it was great economically for you. But it was definitely great for your oligarchs, the people who currently have access to all of our information, who are not even elected officials, and don't even have a security clearance. And is doing things here, and is a foreigner. Like, I thought we were xenophobic. I thought we didn't like immigrants. What are we doing? Anyway, I'm just saying what other people do. That is not what I think. Okay. But I do think this about Mr. Musk. The fact that he's been given so much access to our private information, and he is doing and behaving in a way here in the United States that he could never behave in South Africa. I lived there off and on for many years. He could never get away with any of this in South Africa. And then trying to make really white supremacists, and not all of them are, but most of them were at the time, white supremacists, farmers who stole the land, murdered millions of people, and disenfranchised people historically in their own country. Trying to use the United States as leverage to help them keep the land that they stole from the indigenous people is just outrageous, particularly in a country where they're rounding up immigrants by the dozens, scores of immigrants, and taking them to Guantanamo Bay and other places and sending the planes back and threatening tariffs and all of these things. But you literally have someone who is not an elected official, who is from overseas, who traffics in privacy and security and technology. And you have that person making decisions for our country, and he is not an elected official. So I don't even know how people who voted for Trump are feeling right now, because I don't see the price of anything going down. If you see it, please let me know. I don't see the price of anything going down. I see a bunch of conflict with a bunch of countries that have we haven't had any issues with, no real issues with. And if immigration is to be solved, then it's going to take time. It took us a long time to get into it. We actually have a system that works. You just have to use the system. You can't just be giving your wives and your in-laws genius grants and stuff like that, genius citizenships. But the rest of us, and I'm not an immigrant. Let me just be clear. I'm not an immigrant. Okay. But the rest of the immigrants have to actually go through the due process. So there's a process in place. If we use it, maybe we should try that. I don't know. That's for Democrats and Republicans. How about we try what's in place? If that doesn't work, and if it's not enough, how about we think about ways to restructure, or think about ways to reconfigure it so that it fits with what is happening now in contemporary times. At any rate, I'm back to being sick and tired of being sick and tired, because I'm tired of the double standard. I'm tired of, our president acting like Black and brown immigrants are terrorists, but inviting seemingly white supremacist immigrants into the country, and then giving them carte blanche to our data, information, and privacy. I'm tired of, prior to assuming office, we got to get rid of TikTok. It's a security risk. They have all the data. They're mining all the data of all our people. It's a security issue. It's a privacy issue and all of that. And then all of a sudden, well, let me come in here and save TikTok. Their CEO is great. Their president is great. Let's invite him to the inauguration even. And, the security and privacy issues is not a big deal anymore. Oh, but yeah, let me give this person who's not elected for a made up freaking office I made, and give them carte blanche to all of the data for our citizens and federal employees, including their payment. That means they have their banking data too. So yeah, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired about the double standard. I mean, it's everything. It's not only our information, it's the fact that we have a treasonist who's back in office, who's pardoned all of his little militia, even the violent ones who kill police officers. We claim to love police officers. We claim to need police officers and our other public servants. But then look at what happens. So I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of people lying and clearly not understanding, which I'm going to talk about in the next video, what DEI actually is, what affirmative action actually is, or I guess we could say was. You don't even know what it is. Like, you can't even define it, articulate it. And this false idea that would be Black people, because I'm a Black person and I'm a woman, that somebody's giving us something. I mean, the audacity. We have to be 10 times. I was just talking to Tony. 10 times qualified to get passed over. DEI, those policies are in place so we could at least get an interview and then get passed over. Like, what are y'all talking about? I can't tell you how many interviews I've sat in and somebody's like, yeah, such and such. So we're looking for such and such. I don't see it. And it is the top thing on my resume. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a group of people who are white, and half of them are college or high school dropouts, and now they're college professors. I could never, ever have been a college professor and dropped out of high school. Never, ever, ever. It would never happen. Not to a Black person, and certainly not to a Black woman. I got 4 degrees, Ivy Leaguer, certification in DEI, all the stuff. And still, I have to go and explain to people why I should get an interview. Not why I should get the job, why I should get an interview. And ostensibly, so I was like, yeah, we went with somebody else because we needed someone with more experience in such and such. Okay, so I have 23 years of that experience. Did you not see it on my resume? Okay, just say you want to hire your friend. I get it. It's cool. I'm not mad. I don't turn around and say, I'm going to sue you because you took my job. My parents raised me to think I don't own anything and I don't owe anybody anything except myself. So I just keep going to the next place and hopefully find somebody or something or somewhere that wants to give me a shot based on my ridiculous qualifications. They are phenomenal. And I know you're like, oh, that little arrogant hussy. Yep. Phenomenal. My qualifications in every category. I'm a multi-hyphenate. In every category are phenomenal. My experience, phenomenal. My measurable outcomes, phenomenal. And still, I got to beg to get the interview. All right. So I'm going to close with, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And what you need to know, there are a lot of people out here like me who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, like Fannie Lou Hamer, of being mistreated for doing nothing but being a decent human being, a good person who wants everyone, regardless of race, right? Regardless of race. You keep calling us racist. Regardless of race, to have the same opportunities, regardless of gender, sexual identity, and the list goes on, ability, disability, whether you're a veteran or you're not a veteran or what have you. Everybody just have the same access and opportunities. And that is why DEI exists, because that is not the case, even when you are ridiculously qualified for whatever job you're going after. Tune in next week to the Signal Award-winning podcast, a Black Executive Perspective podcast, hosted by none other than Tony Franklin. And I will see you then. Bye.
A Black Executive Perspective.